Welcome to tonight's episode of True It or with Color Lubodi. I trust that we are all good. Through it all, it's all about encouragement. It's all about giving you hope. It's all about letting you know that there is always a tomorrow for you. Weeping may endure all night. Joy comes in the morning. No matter what you are going through, joy will always come in the morning. So if you're in the night season of your life, it's not ending here. There's always a tomorrow that we start with the morning, and tomorrow's morning will come with your joy. Your joy will arrive even with the dawn of a new day. Always have trust in God. Always have hope in Him. It's not going to end like this. All right. So if this is your first time on True It All, I welcome you. Welcome to True It All. The title of this program was derived from my book, True It All. True It All happens to be the memoir of my many trials and triumph. I shared in the book all the challenges I've been through in life, or rather, most of the challenges I've been through in life, and how God helped me, how God sent help where necessary. And by His grace, I am who I am today. I always encourage people to go read that book. If you're going through a challenge at the moment, or you know someone going through a challenge at the moment, please, I will always, employ that you get a copy of the book and read it. Somebody called it the manual. It's an encouragement manual. It's a manual that gives you the direction to take when you need to get out of any challenge. All right. If you need the book, just visit tia.com.ng, tia.com.ng. You can always download the soft copy right away and start reading. And if you're interested in the hard copy, kindly order for a copy and it will be shipped to you. If you're outside Nigeria and you're wondering how you can get a copy, just visit Amazon, search for True It All by Color Lubodi, and you can always order for your own copy. And the Lord will bless you as you do so. So I'll be reading for us Galatians chapter 6, verses 9 and 10. Galatians 6, 9 and 10. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. King James will say, to the household of faith. We had gotten to a time in the history of this world that everyone needs to be his brothers and his sisters' keeper. Are you in Nigeria or even some other countries outside this country? I know things are getting tough all over. These are the days where we all should be our brothers' keepers. And so the Bible says, don't be weary in doing good. Don't be tired in doing good. Persist in doing good to people. Then you'll be like your Lord and Savior, Lord Jesus. Now the Bible said that He went about doing good, healing them that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with Him. I tell you, the devil is affecting and oppressing people again with hunger, with lack. People are losing their jobs. People are getting depressed on daily basis. And some people actually are contemplating suicide. God has planted you around them to be a succor for them. Please don't close your bowel of mercy. Don't be tired of doing good. The Bible is saying that because there are a lot of things that we need to do now for people, for our brethren, and you can't afford to be tired of doing all these good works. Of course, you say you're going to reap your reward at the proper time. But don't do it because you know there's a reward coming. Do it because you care for people. Do it. Lord Jesus Christ said in Matthew chapter 25, I was hungry, you did not feed me. I was thirsty, you didn't give me water to drink. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. I was in prison, you didn't visit me, you know. And it went on and on. And someone said, oh, Lord, I never saw you naked. I never saw you hungry. I never saw you thirsty. I never saw you in prison. If I knew you were there, I would have visited you. Jesus Christ said, inasmuch as you didn't do it for this, my own brethren here, you've not done it for me. And the first category were people that he said, I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me water. I was naked, you clothed me. I was in prison, you visited me. I was in hospital. You did the right things. As long as you do it to your brethren, the Lord Jesus counts it as that you are doing it as unto me. You can't afford not to do good to your brethren, people of God. You have gotten to that time. If things are hard, if darkness is all over the place, gross darkness is covering the people, the Bible says this is the time for you to rise, shine. Because God deliberately allowed His light to come upon you so that you can become light for those in darkness, no matter how gross the darkness may be. So I'm challenging you this day. Please rise up. If you're in a position to help others, God has given you light. Go use that light to help others. What's the usefulness of light? When light wants to stay in the midst of light and not go where there is darkness, and let the people in darkness see your light and then see the way out. The Lord will be your strength in the name of the Lord Jesus. Help someone today. Call someone in need today. Or what some people need is just one word of encouragement. Be that source of that encouragement for them, and the Lord will bless you. God bless you, my people. God bless you. So my guest tonight is one of my wonderful, wonderful mentees, a wonderful daughter to me. She is a sickle cell warrior. And she didn't stop at just fighting the ailment. She took the journey to another level by becoming an advocate for people with sickle cell. She's using her own experience as someone with sickle cell to strengthen, to encourage, and give hope to other people with sickle cell. She is indeed a warrior, a victor, and a champion. My guest tonight is Damilola Precious. That she calls herself Dami Precious. All right, so we're going to the interview session now, and I'm so sure you are going to be blessed. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do so now. If you've not been going through the past videos of past interviews we've had on True It All, please do so after this episode. And if you are blessed with this one, please share with people that you know would be encouraged and blessed by this episode. All right. So God bless you as we go into the interview. All right. So I have a very, very wonderful person on Through It All tonight. Yes, she's young. She's one of my daughters. And, at times when you have those your children that are close to you, you just assume that, you know everything about them. And I went on Dami Precious Instagram on Saturday. I was supposed to do some other things. Then I stumbled on one of our videos, and I saw the people reacting to the video, liking, commenting. I said, okay. So I checked the other video. Then I checked the other. I got glued on our Instagram profile for a very long time. And it occurred to me that, I thought I knew her. Now I'm getting to know her more than how much I think I knew before. So I said, you are coming on Through It All to share the full story.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. So welcome to Through It All, Dami. Dami Lola prefers merging her two names. She will tell us how that brand structure was created and then becoming Dami Precious. All right, so Dami, so nice to have you on Through It All.
So nice to be here, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so I know people at home will be wondering that I brought a young person today, so maybe you want to introduce yourself to them.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Oluwadamilola Precious Oyewumi, but like that is said, I prefer to be called Dami Precious. It's a brand for me because we have a lot of Dami, we have a lot of Precious. So when you hear Dami Precious, you can identify it that this is one person. I am a digital marketer and I am also a sickle cell warrior and sickle cell advocate.
All right, thank you. It was that sickle cell warrior side that really caught my attention. So maybe you want to tell us tell us your story, Dami Precious. I call her Dami, at times Dami Precious, but I will stick to the brand name today, Dami Precious. So do you want to tell us your story from the start, when you were born? When did you realize that that you had sickle cell? How has it been?
Okay, so I didn't find out I have sickle cell. My parents did actually when I had my first crisis at the age of 7. That was when they found out okay, my genotype was different from what they had thought my genotype was. And that was when it started for me as a sickle cell warrior. But I didn't exactly understand what it is or what it takes for me to have a different genotype from people, because I want to believe that before I got to the age of 7, I was someone who was playful but reserved. So I just did my things, and the knowledge of having a different genotype didn't stick to me. I just felt I was like every other person, and coupled with the fact that people around me too did not understand the uniqueness of the genotype. So I was not able to know what to do and what not to do until when I grew up as an adult. I just knew I had a different genotype. There are things that my parents allowed me to do and there are things they didn't allow me to do. I wasn't exactly identified with the genotype. I just wanted to be like every other children around.
Wow. All right. So at what age would you say that you got so conscious of the fact that, okay, I am different?
And I'd say at the age of 18, 19.
Oh, really?
Yes, at the age of 18, 19, that was when I decided to, okay, learn more about my genotype and understand what it means for me to be with this genotype, because up until when I gained admission into the university, I still held myself back from telling people around that, okay, this is my genotype, so they can know what to do and what not to do, basically. So I did not have that privilege of understanding what it means for me to be someone living with sickle cell until I until after I had experienced different life-threatening crises and moments, emotional abuse and psychological abuse also, and the societal stigma that comes with sickle cell. And I was like, okay, I need to find out what it really means to live with sickle cell, so I can be able to defend myself and not just have something of a coping mechanism that is still affecting me at the end of the day.
Wow. Wow. I want you to take us through something, I mean, the graphical way that you grew up, maybe from primary school to secondary school. Did you have crisis then?
Okay, so after the first crisis I had at 7, I did not have any other crisis in primary school again until I got to secondary school, and every exam period, that's when I have crisis. But the only admission I can remember or I know of was the one I was admitted at the age of 7. But every other crisis I had from primary school till secondary school was managed
At home.
at home.
Okay.
Not that they managed it because they understood what it takes to manage it, but just because it wasn't something that would have led to the whole hospital drama. But there was a particular one I had. I had a crisis pain on my left hand, and it was being managed at home with rub and just hot water and resting and every other thing. But it got to a point, this I could not release the arm without feeling pain. So my hand was almost becoming like this. And just the day when my mom was like, okay, we have to go to the hospital today, I could remember very well. I was like, okay, I don't think I want to go to the hospital. I think we should use rub one last time. It's going to work, and we would pray. I think that was the first time I experienced God at work.
Wow.
Like personally. So after the rub and the prayer, I felt relieved. And I was able to start using the hands again. Then any other crisis I had was around the exam period. Till now, I don't know why that was happening. I almost was thinking it was village people that was after my life.
I think that should be more of anxiety.
Yes.
You know, anxiety triggers
crisis.
I mean, the crisis. I think I've had that somewhere before, that when you are anxious, it affects your psyche or something, and then it can trigger sickle cell.
Yes, I would say that because right from primary school, I was or I am a brilliant child, so I was doing well. It's in that first position, second position, or third position. So there's just a few days ago, I was tweeting it that there's this thing called silent pressure that is on people living with sickle cell. People don't have to say it, but the pressure is just there.
Wow.
Around, like, okay, you just have to do something better. You have to do it better. So up until secondary school, I think for a while my academic dropped in secondary school, and my mom just said it. I don't know if she meant it or anything. She was like, as comparison. So it was like, okay, I have to do better, which I actually did. I I went from not receiving any prize to receiving best in English, mathematics, and best in overall then in secondary school, despite the fact that I was sick during that period. So I think I will agree with the anxiety probably being. I've never seen it in that way too.
All right. So Precious, there's somebody at home there. He or she has had, I've had people talk about crisis, 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 crisis. But they can't even imagine what it's like. Maybe you want to give a vivid picture of what it means for someone with sickle cell having crisis.
Okay, we experience the crisis differently, actually, but it's almost the same way. Just like we are all different as human, the way you have headache is different from the way someone beside you is probably feeling headache. As sickle cell warriors, we like to say there's no word or vivid picture we can use to describe experiencing crisis. But there's one way I usually use to describe crisis. I've never experienced that, but I just want you to imagine a whole building on top of your body.
Wow.
Literally, a whole building on top of your body. The pain gets to a point where it feels like every little system in your body are fighting against each other. Like there's a war going on inside your body.
Wow. Wow. In fact, you can only imagine that when you have a whole building on your body. In fact, let's not talk of building, talk of a whole big wardrobe falling on you and somebody not being able to carry it.
Yes.
You know, there was a time I was wondering, I was just wondering, how does this pain, how does it do them, so to speak? And it was as if I was saying, God, let me feel it. I think I was serving then. And then this romantic pain, romanticism, it was came and it was so bad. I could not walk. I could not. And then I now remember that I've been asking God, how did they normally feel? So I said, oh, so God, this is how they feel. No, I don't want to feel it again. All right. Wow. Wow. All right. So how did the advocacy side of your sickle cell journey, how did that one come in?
Okay. It started as far back as 4 years ago, 2020.
Okay.
But because I decided to learn more about sickle cell, but I didn't exactly learn it for anybody aside from myself, because when you have something and you don't understand what you have, you will not know how to deal with it yourself personally.
That's true.
Without Before you now start thinking about how to deal with it with people around you, before it gets to the society to understand what you're feeling. Say for instance, for something that everyone can understand, you are experiencing stomach ache, and you don't know exactly how it is happening. There's no way you want to explain to the physician that, okay, this is the way I am feeling. So I didn't understand. All I know is that I used to experience pains. So I had to Google about it, read about it. Then, because of the past experience I've had emotionally,
yeah,
in 2020 was like the year everybody found their dream, basically, because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
So I joined an advocacy challenge for 30 days towards June 19, World Sickle Cell Day. So we had to post content about sickle cell from, I think, May 19 to June 19 for 30 days. So I was doing that. I wasn't consistent though, because I didn't want people on my WhatsApp to know that I had sickle cell. It was just people in my fellowship then in school, just some people that just knew that, okay, this is what Dami has. So I was not speaking with the organizer that, oh, this is beautiful, and what sickle cell day. I think it was a day to what sickle cell day. So I was telling her that I would love to like tell people that this is, or tell my story. But I'm not sure about how people will take it, or I'm not sure about what people are going to say, because I had not learned how to actually tell people about sickle cell aside from learning for myself. So she was like, just say it. Anybody that comes to your DM, bring them to my DM. So we will. So for what sickle cell that day, I just shared on my WhatsApp status a little, just something little, and some few weeks after, I was having like something like a mini call. I will call it a clarity call now because it gave me some form of clarity. So we're just talking randomly. Then I told her that I want to start a podcast so I can share my own story so people can relate to what sickle cell warriors feel. And she was like, but I was still telling her how I wasn't comfortable with sharing my story. And she was like, okay, why not make it public? Reach out to people that are living with sickle cell and ask them for their own story, for people that are comfortable to share their story. And that was how it started. And I also reached out to, I decided to find a name, then I reached out to another person and I gave the person an idea of the name. And the person was like, instead of warriors, why not victors? That is, we fight every day and we still win. So that was the way I started my podcast, the Victor Stock podcast. But along the line, I had to go back to my why. My why was that I wanted to share stories. Then that same 2020, I had to find my why, which was that, okay, I want to give voice to sickle cell warriors like me, where you can be able to live in a society without feeling like you are different from, as much as we are all different, without feeling like you are different from every other person. Yes, fine, you are living with a disability that is invisible. Yes, fine, you have a genotype that is unique from every other person's genotype. There's one thing I go with, as long as people with other genotype aside from SS are proud to say, I have AA genotype, I am fine, I am cute. Then me too, I can tell you that I have SS, I am beautiful, I can do this. We are all humans first before this genotype. So the main purpose of how the advocacy started was for me to share my stories. Then it led to, okay, I have to give voice to people like me, just like someone has given me voice. I want to be able to give people voice. And not until 2 years later, then I started a community for sickle cell warriors, because based on my research, because I wanted to do more, and I started an organization, but organization wasn't my strength. It wasn't my strength because of the whole NGO rules and regulations. I wasn't cut out for it before I started. So I had to find something else that was my strength, which was the emotional part of sickle cell warriors. It is not being focused on. I'm not saying the other parts are not important too. The other parts some people focus on is the hospital bills, fighting for policy, which is fine, which is something I also joined them to do. But there's also the part of emotional sides of which sickle cell warriors, where we don't have people who listen to us for who we are, and not just for, okay, I just want to listen to what you have to say and you won't understand where I am coming from. I saw that there were other WhatsApp group of sickle cell warriors, but the only thing we do there is either come there, ask for help, monetary help, and you definitely find it, and ask for maybe just random things that we're not I don't know, it wasn't looking so,
Not really. I mean, it's not touching. I mean, the way you have
it's
it
not
in your
healing,
heart.
yes.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
was just like I want
yes.
to create something. Then I prayed about it, and I told my support system, and they said, "Go ahead, why not do it?" And from I like doing something on significant date. I was like, "Okay, I'll wait till June 19th." I was like, "No, I'll not wait till." I was like, "How many people will even want to join something like this that money is not even coming out from it?" Because it was just a community that I wanted to start, and I started it, and I titled it Warriors Community. I didn't want to give it any name that maybe it's under an organization or something. I just wanted a safe space for sickle cell warriors like me, where you just come and talk about the most not making sense thing that is going on or that happened around you, and you'd find people that will maybe just
That can
laugh.
identify with you.
Yes, maybe just laugh, hear you out,
and make you feel like normal.
yes.
Like you are normal. It's not you alone going through it.
Yeah, so we had a program, and after that, then I just some people stayed while some people left because I didn't know how to put the whole structure together. But the community is a year now, and we have over 200 members with 150 sickle cell warriors. Then I was telling someone that this is my dream, but it feels like something needs to be done. The person was like, imagine 150 people sitting in front of you. That's what you are doing. Then thank God for the community, the reviews they send. I don't even stay on the group. You can just come. The group is open for anybody. We have caregivers there, family members that okay, they will want to see from the point of view of sickle cell warriors, whereby if you're a family member of a warrior, if you're on that community page, if you see a sickle cell warrior coming to talk about how they are feeling, and you see the way other sickle cell warriors respond to them, you'll be able to understand, okay, next time if my own warrior, which is my own daughter or friend, tells me that okay, this is the way I'm feeling, you will know the right response to give.
Right things to do.
It's more of an indirect learning for caregivers. It is not restricted to only sickle cell warriors as much as the warriors community. So we just stay there, have a safe space. Then moving on, I just had to say, okay, I want to be a voice beyond being a sickle cell warrior. I want to give voice to other people like me. Where I am coming from, when I was in secondary school, no one understood me. It was more or less like you're always weak, you're always tired, you can't even do that. If they touch you small like this, you're already crying. And what's like that? And I was like, there are also other people that are probably facing this. There are moments where in the warriors community where someone will come and say they're experiencing this, and someone that has experienced it before and has healed from it, people like, oh, we are so sorry. We listen to them first. You feel seen and heard. That was the major goal, not something of okay, don't do this, don't do that kind of community. A community
so they feel safe. They feel at home. They feel as if now I find people that will not condemn me and think I'm the one cooking it up, as if I always want to be in crisis and pain.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, so that means you must have had a lot of other warriors talk about those emotional side. And interestingly, I mean, that is the aspect of sickle cell I think many don't pay attention to. So I want you to share with us maybe 2, 3 things that you think they have said that many of us may not even be familiar with. Like, I mean, the one that threw me off on Saturday was when you were, I watched your video and you were talking about speaker. Now, I've heard about it somewhere in the past, but when you started talking about it, now it made more sense. So I won't say what picker is. You are going to explain all those things by yourself using your own um, experience.
Okay. So
But don't
Pika,
not only pick alone. I want to know those emotional things. There are parents out there, they have not joined the warrior community. I hope you will join after today and you will tell us how they, I mean, whether caregivers or parents or other sickle cell warriors outside there can join other warriors to really feel in a safe community. But I want to know more of those emotional things, those sides of people with sickle cell that many don't see outside, and it's hidden, so to speak, apart from the pain.
okay. Um, we have various sides of sickle cell warriors that we don't share, just like every other person don't share all of their struggles outside. And I used to say there's more to sickle cell. Sickle cell is beyond sickle cell. As much as it's an invisible chronic illness, it has so much advantage and disadvantages. So, like you said, Pika is an interesting stuff that sickle cell warriors face, and aside from sickle cell warriors, some other people also
Yeah.
experience Pika, and that's due to the low amount of iron that we have because of the anemia that we experience. That's why. So we crave for things that do not have nutrients in them. Say for example, my whole experience, I right from primary school, I can remember very well. I used to then in primary school we were using chalkboard. So I used to eat chalk. Like I don't know why then, but I just used to enjoy eating chalk. And in that video, I was like, up until now, I still want to taste or eat it. But there was even a time in primary school, one of some of my primary school classmates, they caught me. I was like, I'm not eating chalk, I'm eating paracetamol, basically.
That was what you told them.
That was what I told them. So it's due to the anemia that we have as sickle cell warriors. And in that video I posted, some sickle cell warriors were like, some eat ice, some eat sand, some eat things without nutrients, basically. Some eat paper, some eat
plastic.
Yes, plastic, barrel, pen covers, and every other thing.
And some eat pure water nylon. Those days, even before there was pure water nylon.
Yeah, like just
any nylon,
just
goes
things
to the
without
mouth.
nutrients, and there's no joy in it. It's not adding any nutrient, basically. But it's also harmful to the body system because it doesn't make your body system get better. I would rather say worse, but not worse per se. So how do you deal with that, especially in a sickle cell warrior? For me, I didn't visit any doctor. It was a self-awareness, and the fact that I wasn't even seeing chalk around. I wasn't seeing.
Thank God they no more use chalk so much.
I wasn't
these
seeing
days.
chalk around me that made me that made me stop it. It wasn't like I made a decision then to stop it. I think my secondary school moved to Maka, and at a point too in secondary school, I used to write notes on the board, so it wasn't helping. Until they changed to marker, whiteboard marker. So I had to be self-aware. Each time I see even after secondary school, I started seeing chalk around, and sometimes I'll just take small and still like eat it or something. But when I became self-aware and had to understand what, I didn't even know it was called pika until I had to read more about what makes you eat something without nutrients. So anytime I want to or anytime I see it, that I would feel like eating it, I go and get yogurt.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's white also.
yes, that's white also. So at least you guys adding a little bit of nutrients to my body. So I go and get yogurt. I don't do that every time, but most times when I see it, or there was a time I was tempted to go and buy it.
Buy chalk.
Chalk. So it was that bad for me, and I just had to be self-aware. There was a time someone came to ask me that, okay, she has a cousin there's also a sickle cell warrior, and she eats stuffs that are not adding nutrients to her body. And I just had to tell them that allow her, but caution her also. Allow her, but caution her also, because if you don't allow her, she will want to perceive you, because she's still young. She wants to see you as someone who does not like her, because we really cannot explain. It's just like pregnancy too, that when they, I've not been pregnant before, that when they crave something, and when you stop them, they start crying. So in children like that too, she can perceive you as someone who does not like her. But when you see her eating it, caution her in a way that she would not want to go there again, or want to eat something like, or you give her something that looks close to it this time, or maybe something sweeter that can make her reduce it. Then when he or she grows up, she'll be able to understand, grow it, because based on the comments from that video, most of the comments were like they've outgrown it.
Yeah.
Because they have come to understand this thing is not doing any much good. For the emotional part, we are in a world where people are not speaking up. But where I was coming from, we're in a world where you are not allowed to say how you feel. Basically, it's not like I said about the silence pressure, it's not something outspoken outside, like, okay, don't say how you feel. But when you are in a society where you have just 1% out of 100% that is emotionally intelligent, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know who to say this is how you are feeling. Say for instance, you're experiencing some kind of pain as sickle cell warrior, and the next thing someone is telling you is that it's because the way you are sleeping, it's because of the way you are sleeping, or it's because of the way you talk. I'm just trying to say things,
no, I can understand.
Things that, or it's because you don't sleep the time you are supposed to sleep. But the pain is not really associated with the complaint I'm trying to give, basically. And this thing gets down to the medical system, because we have sickle cell warriors that complain about hospital traumas. Some sickle cell warriors don't want to go to the hospital because of the emotional response they are going to get. Don't get me wrong, we are not saying you have to be emotional with everything. It's just emotional intelligence, where you understand that, okay, it's okay for this person to feel tired because they have anemia.
Yeah.
It's okay for them to not want to do something at the moment where you want them to do it, because they are fatigued. Chronic fatigue comes with sickle cell. That's one thing we shy away from talking about, because we are coming from a place where nobody understands that they just tag you as being lazy. They just tag you as being lazy. There are times when your energy is on high, like very high, so you want to do everything, because you know that by the time you are feeling fatigued, there's literally nothing anyone will say that will make you stand up, because as much as you yourself want to motivate yourself to stand up, you are unable to. Not like you are paralyzed or anything. It's just,
I mean, you just feel that weakness, that tiredness come upon you.
Just feel that weakness. And while I was on my self-awareness journey, I realized that for sickle cell warriors, if we don't, I still don't know how to deal with it, but if we are not careful, when you are fatigued, you can slip into depression
Okay.
because you are fatigued, especially as someone like me who is always up and down, and you are fatigued and you don't have people around you to understand you. As at then, for me,
Yeah.
you don't have people around you to understand you, and you started you you are being compared to other people. Then you find yourself slowly comparing yourself to other people, and mind you, these people, they don't even have sickle cell trait at all. So
Wow.
even say they want to experience chronic fatigue.
Wow.
So you find yourself comparing yourself to other people who seem like they are, or who are even doing well, and you are just probably lying down on your bed trying to figure out how to get up to do your to-do list for the day at least. And you start comparing yourself, you start thinking, is this the way my life wants to be going? And you start blaming yourself, beating yourself up because you feel like when you were having that energy, you should have done something. And before you know it, by the time you are not feeling fatigued again, your spirit within is still weak because you've allowed yourself to be weak too with the fatigue. So one day I try as much as possible to do when I'm fatigued is I like creating memories.
Okay.
So when I feel fatigue from within, I look at my past pictures and videos, and I was doing this means that this one is just for the
It's just for this
moments
short
for this short period,
time.
so I can still stand
It's
up
not going to
again.
always be like this.
Yes, I can still stand up again and get going. I'm not totally there yet. There are times where like personal issues that I'm going through want to
Yeah.
get into my mind, but I try as much as possible not to stay in fatigue longer than maybe 2 days or a day. Sometimes it can go on for a week, but it can't be as chronic for all like the way it was the first day. So
Exactly.
instead of being weak there and acting like a victim too, because sometimes we find ourselves weak and tired, then we start
And then
acting
the self-pity side of
self-pity
it.
and everything just show up. I just try as much as possible. Okay, damn, you've done this before, so when I go through, like you go through my Instagram page, I also go to my Instagram page, see things I've done, and tell myself, okay, when I feel better, maybe I'll just stand up, do a video. Then those things keep me like going instead of just sitting, then wallow in self pity.
At least you do the things that you know you love doing, things that you have passion for.
Yes.
And I think all these things you are saying, I know we talks. I mean, of course, I've had series of people come talk on sickle cell on through it all. That the angle you're coming from is totally different, which is the emotional side, and this is the side that whether parents or siblings or other people trying to help someone that falls into crisis, they don't understand. You understand? I mean, like Yorubas will say, you two try and get up now. You two don't be lazy now. You understand?
Exactly.
So if they don't understand the emotional side of it, even applying the emotional intelligence, I mean, on the side of the person will be so difficult, and then of course imagine a parent saying maybe his son eating chalk or whatever, the way they will shout on him, the way "Shebi Nkpeni," like Yorubas will say, "Are you hungry? What's your problem?" You know, not knowing that there are some other things that triggers what is not the usual
Thing that they are
you
doing.
know. So, all right. So I want you to talk to parents and guardians and siblings. I once lived somewhere. One of the children in that home, very pleasant young lady, pleasant. But once she falls into crisis, everybody just abandons her in their room. She'll be screaming, she'll be crying, she'll be praying, she'll be singing, all because of the pain. But I discovered that so painfully, every member of the family, anytime the crisis comes, everybody gets sad also, from the father to the last sibling. Everybody gets sad. And I think what really makes things worse for them is that they don't even know how to handle this thing. So what would you tell, families, friends, siblings, what do they do when they find um, one of them going through crisis?
Okay, so I'll start from the person that is going through crisis. As sickle cell warriors, you have to know yourself, know what works for you and what doesn't work for you, know your triggers, and know the basic home management of sickle cell crisis. When you are able to understand that, you should be able to communicate with every other member of your family. And for families, caregivers, guardians of sickle cell warriors, when a sickle cell warrior is in crisis, I already mentioned we experience this thing differently. But first thing first, I understand the place of Otutubere. I understand the place of he has come again, Abi, and understand the place of tiredness of having to take care of someone like me, because sometimes we don't used to get what basically but it's just coming from place of trying to prove that okay, we can also be normal,
trying to be normal.
So, and I understand the money part too. So, but when someone who is a sickle cell warrior is experiencing a crisis, the whole manage crisis plan first is to, and the emotional part too is to ask the person how you can be there for them. There are times when I am in pains and I don't want anybody around me. And there are times when I'm in pains, I would probably want people to be around me. So the fact that you ask the first time the person is experiencing crisis doesn't mean you can't ask the second time the person is experiencing crisis. The crisis happen in different places of our body, and it happens in different emotional parts too.
That's true.
Of our body. So you ask first, how can I be there for you? Is there any way I can help? Is there anything you need me to do? That's the emotional part. Or do you need us to go to the hospital? I already spoke about hospital trauma. Some warriors don't want to go to the hospital because of what they experience at the hospital too. And if a warrior tell you no, they don't want to go to the hospital, don't force them to go to the hospital, but let them see the reason why they need to go to the hospital. They know the reason why they need to go to the hospital, but then you also have to be there for them, for you to be able to help them. And if you have been there for them in the right way, trust me, you will not get tired of doing it because you understand the way they want to be helped and you understand what you need to do. And for the first aid part of it, if someone is experiencing crisis, if they have pain medications that they use, administer that to them.
Okay.
And if the pain does not relieve them in, say, an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, don't administer another one. That is when you now try to take them to the hospital. And there's something we call pain score. So, as someone living with sickle cell, I don't advise you stay at home when your pain score is above 6. When your pain score is above 6, when the pain score is already 6/10, when the pain is that intense, because
how do you measure that?
We don't have anything. I think it's just a mental calculation that this is how intense the pain is. there's a nurse I met one time when I was having like a very high pain score, like 10 over 10, 11. Like the nurse was like, Auntie Mokwe, hospital ni. Like we as sickle cell warriors, we know when we are supposed to be at the hospital for a pain complaint and when we just want to manage it at home. So the nurse was like, ó sì mọ̀ pé ilé kò ṣe gbé sílé náà ló ṣe wá sí hospital basically. So she was like, I already know that, okay, this pain is not something I can manage at home. That's why I came to the hospital. So when you ask a sickle cell warrior, what's your pain score, they know the best way to respond and tell you that, okay, this is my pain score. There are times when pain score can be 1 over 10 and you know that, okay, this can go up than this. And when a pain score is like 3 over 10, you know that, okay, maybe I just need to sleep, rest, drink, stay hydrated, drink enough water, take my medications, then sleep and rest. And when I wake up, I would be better. So, and you can also use warm water to damp wherever it is they tell you they are feeling pains in their body.
In one of your videos, you were talking about water, hot water. At times the hot water becomes so warm when it gets to that pain side.
Yes, because of how intense the pain is. And for us, we experience body pains, but when we talk about crisis, we are talking about bone pains. We are talking about bone pains. When I tell my friend I'm in pain, I know that some of them know, but to counter whatever kind of question they might want to ask next, I tell them, okay, I'm having body pain and I'm having bone pain. So for myself as a sickle cell warrior, I already understand how the pain works in my body system. I know when it is my bone that is paining me. I know when it is my body that is paining me, that I just need maybe paracetamol or water and sleep. Then I will be better. And I know when it is a crisis pain. We don't remember how the pains feel like, but it's just like a mental turn on. When the pain comes, you already know that, okay, this is the kind of pain you are feeling.
Hot water helps.
Hot water helps.
You know, I had this, I didn't know what happened. I think I sprained this wrist some 2-3 weeks ago. And I could manage the pain. My pain was like 3 over 10. And then I was told to apply block. Immediately I put the block, I knew the pain went straight to like 8 over 10. You know, something like that.
Yes, cold triggers crisis, like pains too for some people.
In fact, immediately that pain jumped, I knew it was time to go to the hospital. So I of course, I could imagine some of the things you were saying, and what relieved it on the long run was when I started applying hot water.
The science behind that is it's so amazing, because for me, I personally, I have I want to call it an unbalanced temperature, whereas I don't do well in heat or hot water. Okay. My body, once I use hot water to bathe, but not every time, because it doesn't make me feel better, aside from pain aside. So recently I found out that it triggers crisis.
Oh, really?
Yes, it triggers crisis for me. And I saw some other stories and everything online. Then cold also trigger crisis. So I've come to understand, okay, I know how to manage my body. I can't stay in somewhere that is very hot or heat or something. It's going to trigger some form of crisis for me. And it doesn't have to be extremely cold.
Okay.
So there's a level.
So this AC level is okay for you?
It's low.
It's low. Oh, okay. I actually brought it low because of you.
So, like, I'm trying to still learn my body too.
Okay.
Like it's an ongoing journey for me. And there are some that's why I said as much as we have sickle cell, that is kind of like a common factor for us. We are also
The
different
peculiarities.
because we are humans first before the genotype.
That's true. That's true.
So some warriors, they don't do well in cold at all. Like this room temperature might be too cold for some people as sickle cell warriors, and it might be too hot for some, and it might just be at my own level too for some.
Wow. Wow. So everybody needs to understand their own body, the body system, so to speak.
Yes.
And so you don't even compare yourself, even as sickle cell warriors, you don't compare yourselves with yourselves. You must not understand what works for you.
Yes.
And all those things. All right. So we need to start wrapping up the program, Dami Precious. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about people with sickle cell getting married. So you as a sickle cell warrior, what have you told yourself that relationship, this is how it's gonna be, this one no go?
Okay, so for relationship, funnily, we were still talking about relationship. They were still because I didn't talk about I didn't even say it. We were still talking about relationship on the Warriors community page. Someone was like, is that for warriors to get into a relationship? And so another person was like, it's not hard to get into a relationship, sickle cell warrior or not. So I will start with the person that said it's not hard because again, we are humans first before the genotype. So however it is you see yourself, however it is you carry yourself. I've had a couple of guys tell me that they don't want to, they didn't like come to me straight for a relationship because of the way I carry myself is like I am too high for them basically. And the way you see yourself first matters, whether you're a sickle cell warrior or not. And there's something I tell myself, I am beyond sickle cell. There's more to me than being a sickle cell warrior.
That's true.
There's so much I want to do with the sickle cell part of me outside of the equation. So I understand myself. I know that, okay, this is who I am. I know my identity in Christ and I know my identity as a person. So I am able to present myself in such a way that before my genotype is outside, so everybody knows that this is my genotype. But if my genotype is not outside, I know some people would want to be surprised when they realize that, okay, this is this girl's genotype. So for relationship, it is not hard, but it depends on, but doesn't mean you have to enter into any kind of relationship that comes your way. Doesn't mean that, okay, just because now genotype lights, just because this person is a, I'm going to be in a relationship with the person because it's going to be hard for me to find another a. When we talk about relationship, I say something about a. I said the fact that someone has a genotype, as much as you want to be compatible, doesn't mean you have to go ahead with the relationship. What's the personality of this person? How does this person treat every other person? And how does the person takes the conversation about sickle cell? Like, it's not like when I say, okay, somebody have SS, I'm trying to just like get to know you. And you're like, that one is a sickler, that one, before you know it, you marry that kind of person, the person you have already died while you're into the marriage or something like that. If that kind of person have that mindset, run.
That's true.
Run. The fact that the person is a doesn't qualify the person to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife. So basically, you have to know yourself, understand yourself, and secondly, present yourself in such a way that people would respect you.
That's true.
And thirdly, the fact that someone is a doesn't qualify the person to be your husband or your wife.
All right. I think what you have said is very important. Um, don't marry people just because you think um, I'm in a fix. And I think, well, if it's only because of having children, I will marry him. A marriage is more than just having children. You need companionship. You need somebody that will take you for who you are, and someone that won't look down on you, someone that will always, I mean, value you, so to speak.
Yes.
All right. So it's not compulsory that they marry any and every AA that comes their way.
Yes.
But ASAS or SSAS, what would you say?
We have different arguments on that one.
I think I'll need to come to that your community.
Some people will say AS and AS can marry. Just like you just mentioned, if it's not because of children, I can marry someone with sickle cell traits. Marriage is not just for giving birth to children alone. And some people will say we already have a means to avoid that genotype. But my own stand is that I would say no to AS and SSSS getting married, because I won't advise you to go or not marry the person or anything, but I won't say a full go ahead for that kind of relationship, because AS they have the sickle cell traits.
Yeah.
Whether they want to accept it or not, there are still some sickle cell complications that some of them experience. And yes, and there are some, and for SSSS, is it like I just say it and tell you that okay, beyond even getting married self, there are still some things they are trying to deal with in marriage. And you with a clause in your genotype already, your blood system is not compatible. There is some people would say they will abort. Yes, they will abort and they will adopt. And some will say they will do IVF. And I'm like, have you sat yourself down and think about the emotional part of it, the financial part of? Some say they have the money, but there's the emotional part. Emotions is beyond just something very little. Once I'm already getting tired of not seeing a solution to something, some people want to run away. They don't want to stay. They don't want to undo it. It's beyond I love you, you love me, you love me. It's beyond. And there's the God factor too. There's something I used to say: if God say yes to a relationship and later you are seeing that they broke up, and you are not like, Shebi God said yes to the relationship, what happened? And I'll say, I used to tell my friends, I'll be like, it's not about the fact whether God, yes, God is the foundation. You already know that, okay, this is the foundation of this relationship and marriage. So when there's a problem, you want to run to God. But as an individual, how is your stability?
That's true.
How is your stability? Are you sure this is something you want to stay in? Fine, God is telling me to go ahead. What's your faith in God? What's your stand? I think in that foundation.
I think you are very right about that. And the day I knew I was going to marry my wife, yes, I've been falling in love, and the thing was growing. That the day I got 1000% convinced that I was going to marry her was the day she had this crisis when we were back on the campus. That was the day that myself and God concluded that yes, I'm going to marry her.
And there are
You
some people
understand?
that want to run
And
away.
so 30 years gone, maybe the early part of the marriage, yes, crisis, then the thing reduced and everything. But each time it comes, I've never looked at myself and said, how did you enter to this? So it's all about counting the cost. I mean, it's still going back to the AA, SS, or whatever thing, type of a thing that you're talking about. Um, yes, I know somebody, I know she had, I mean, sickle cell, but I value the person beyond
Sickle cell.
the ailment, so to speak. And that's where the importance is. You must value people. You must value people, whether it's, I mean, beyond disability. I knew she valued me also in spite of my disability. We looked beyond what we thought were our whatever, and we went ahead. You understand? So valuing yourselves, valuing people. I mean, this is just digressing when it comes to relationship. Never marry anyone that won't value you for whatever reason. For whatever reason. All right. Now we need to finish this because um, time is no more on our side. All right. So your final words for warriors outside there that are still confused, not knowing what to do, and what would you say to them?
Okay. There's sickle cell warrior. Take your time, one step at a time, one day at a time. If you're unable to do it today, try again tomorrow, and know yourself, understand your body, understand your emotions, understand the people around you too. Then find yourself first. Once you know yourself, once you accept yourself for who you are, don't go, God forbid, I cannot have sickle cell. It's already your genotype. And fine, if a miracle happen, that's a win. And if a miracle does not happen, it's also a win-win for you. So accept yourself for who you are. Understand that you are different, genotype aside, you are different from every other person around you, and keep your faith in God and have a good support system.
Wow, that's so fine. Keep your faith in God, and God will keep sending people to support you. Then I stumbled on a movie on on Netflix, Supercell. I don't know whether you've watched
I've
it.
not seen it.
That they've told you.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I love the concept, even though I mean it's fiction. That offsprings of people with the sickle cell anemia, they can become superheroes or superpowers. You know, I just loved the concept. And, you know, at times, maybe because I tell people with disability, I say that you guys, your disability make you have some extra strength or whatever that makes you know how to get out some situations that people that are normal are still asking, how do we sort this out? Because you have always been there, there's that thing that's part of you. You know, so now that we are talking sickle cell, I just remembered that supercell thing. I wish it was so. Then everybody will want to have people with sickle cell in the family. But it's just a way of saying, it's just a dramatic way of bringing good out of what looks not so good, which I think that's why I just liked that concept. Of course, if you don't like superhero movies, you may not enjoy it. All right. So, Dami Precious, it's really been nice having you on Through It All.
Thank you, sir. It's been
Today.
nice being here.
I wasn't thinking of it maybe weeks ago, but the thing just happened over the weekend. And I'm so happy that we can do this. All right. So thank you so much. Keep winning. Keep, being a warrior that you are. And, you know, at times I tell people I am how I am, so that I can stand before some people. I can say, I know how you are feeling. I know what you are going through. For me, it's a win. And for me, I found the purpose why God made me this way. And I think you are just like me. All right,
Yes, sir.
well done. So, viewers, I think you must have learnt one or two other things about this ailment called sickle cell. We have dealt more on the emotional side of it today. All right, so please be gentle on people around you with sickle cell. They are not bringing it upon themselves. Nobody wants to be in pain. So please be patient with them and show more love, show more care. I tell you, it will take the pain away faster than just trying to shout down on them and say, just get up, don't be lazy. No, they are not trying to be lazy. They can't just help it. All right. So thank you, everyone. So it all happens every Thursday. I'll come your way again next Thursday by God's grace. So please stay blessed. Like this video on Instagram, I mean on YouTube. Like it, subscribe if you have not, and share it with other warriors around you. God bless you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir.